Hey everybody, I hope everybody's having a decent day. Kind of getting myself going here today. Wasn't really an expected scheduled thing today because normally um, there is a Curse of Strahd campaign happening on my channel right about now, and unfortunately there was some health things that made that so that couldn't be a thing. But I guess it just means because I was going to be sitting here in the morning doing some world building anyway, I guess I get a chance to do it with you. So, hey, no complaints really when it comes right down to it. Um, yeah, so first of all, thanks for joining. We get a chance to. I'm trying my hardest to finish up all these subclass, basically a little mini player's handbook for the setting of Olivos, because well, we've got some games going on in there, and I gotta make sure that I get all the right things going for them so they know what to do to create characters. And yeah, you get to help me out along the way. I'm starting off with some basic stuff, just making sure I place the lore in all of those. I can pull up pictures of, well, some pictures anyway, of the realm for people if they would like. Um, Also, put a shout out for anybody who might be interested in playing in Olivos. We're going to start up an Olivon Chronicles campaign, not tomorrow, but the Friday after. And we are going to, we also have all our other games going on. So, of course, you can check out our schedule, drop into the Discord, all those wonderful things. And yeah, here we go. I guess that's just it. That's where we're at. So I am just diving straight in. So kind of where I got myself going so far is I just been going through a lot of these subclasses and placing them. So you can see I've done a lot of stuff, trying to go slightly alphabetical or sort of, I don't know, alphabetical. Um, so we've got lots of this stuff, and I've actually been the big one was the Druids, because there was a subclass that a new subclass I had to write out for the Druids, and that was a bit of a feat. You can see just how much I'm like, my mind was all over the map when I was doing all that stuff. It's the rest of these classes seem to be a little bit more straightforward, um, but I'm gonna kind of go through how my way of thinking goes when I do all these things. So, and if I have enough time, I'm actually going to publish these right into the World Anvil that I'm using for Olivos, at which point everybody can see it. But you're welcome to throw out your ideas out there into the Twitch chat as you see is useful. I actually need to switch my screens here already because I'm going to start talking to. Hello there, Ivalon. Evelon? Ivalon. Sometimes I wish Twitch would come up with would have this feature in the chat where it would actually try to add the pronunciation of the name so I wouldn't mess it up. But good to see you. Thank you for joining. I am in the midst of well, not creating, placing subclasses into the world that is Olivos, and that's where I'm going right now. So good to see you. Thank you for joining me. We are talking Beastmaster Rangers. Raha, Beastmaster Rangers. Okay, so, and I'm using my fancy, little remarkable thingy. So this is a e-writing tablet that I'm using. I put everything on. I don't know how DMs do binders. I can't do it. I've seen, like, I have a friend who runs in-person games, and she has these massive binders of her world, and her husband also runs games, and just massive binders and stacks and bookshelves. I just can't. I just can't carry that much stuff. I can't do that. So um, this is not inexpensive though. Like it saved me a lot of heartache and backaches from carrying too many books around, mind you. But the cool thing is it's got this lovely little software I can actually write things out onto that screen there for you guys without too much hassle. So yeah, it's the yeah. I'm trying to imagine, like, I have a friend who has a character, or like is really organized about how they play their character, and they even have a binder like this thick for their character, and all of the magical trinkets and things that she gets for her character is just all kept in this binder, and I'm very glad that she's able to be organized that way. I really am. It's small, and I'm happy with it. Okay, so Beastmaster. We're talking Beastmasters today. So I'm going to switch my screens here so we can see all of the things. I'm pulling out my Roll20 compendium. Pardon me, my Roll20 compendium. There we go. Roll20 compendium. Because I like to try to. Well, I'm trying to place all these subclasses that the Wizards of Coast have already put together. So, there we go. And I'm gonna try and find my lovely little, what are my Rangers. And nice thing about Roll20, even though only the Hunter and Beastmaster appear in, or no, they only appear in the Player's Handbook. There's a whole bunch of others. Roll20's put them all in the same spot anyway. Makes me kind of a happy camper. So makes it easier for me to find all the things. And I know that Beastmasters had a lot of changes as a result of Tasha's Cauldron of everything. And so I need to make sure I get all of it. So now, here's the question though. Does this... I don't think this one here actually includes the Tasha's Cauldron changes. So this is the Beastmaster Ranger subclass. In the Player's Handbook, I'm pretty certain this is just the Player's Handbook. Beastmaster Archetype embodies a friendship between the civilized races and the beasts of the wild. United and focused beast and rage. Yeah, okay, so basically the Beastmaster can be located anywhere. So this lovely little description and all these, there's not a lot in here that requires an awful lot of work. So maybe Beastmaster wasn't the greatest one to start with, because it's not going to take a lot of work. But I am gonna go check in Tasha's Cauldron because I do know they did some changes to it. All right, Tasha's, where are you? Pardon me. Tasha's. Well, and I did do that once, but I'm a part of the challenge is that I'm trying to create a world as well. And you know what? Mini WindyJ, my son, he is a subclass building champion. He can make subclasses like there's tomorrow, and they're usually, he's really good at it. He can actually make them pretty well balanced in D&D 5e. So what? Ivalon, which one have you played? I'm gonna guess because you said you're not a fan of 5e. Where's your history at with D&D? Where's your history at? We'll go it that way. Oh, it's just the extra companions in Ranger? Oh, boring. Primal Companion. Oh, yeah, you just switch it out for Primal Companion. As an alternative, Beastmaster can take the feature below to form a bond. Yeah, okay, so it's basically just as published. Oop, that's not the right tool. That's the right tool. As published. So there's nothing I can spectacular I have to worry about with the Beastmaster. There. I guess I'm done that, so I'm not really worried about that because Beastmaster lore can work everywhere. Oh, that's good. Hang on. How did you manage 4th edition then? Actually, I shouldn't say anything bad about it, because there's plenty of other people out there in the world who can say plenty of bad things about 4th edition. I don't need to be added to the pile. I actually like a lot of the stuff that came out of 4th edition, like the storylines and the adventure hooks that came out of 4th edition were pretty good. So I guess I shouldn't say that. Oh, really? Okay, well, you will be one of the first ones that I will have had that says that. That's kind of neat, actually. I did like a lot of the stories, like the Dragon magazine that came out. There was a lot of really great things that came out of that magazine. And a lot of great 4th edition stories that I have now ported into 5th edition in some cases. For example, there's I forget which Dragon magazine. There was a one set in Faerun, in the Forgotten Realms, and where was it? It was a Castle Vathar, something like that, just north of the Moonsea, and there was this really good small encounter, short encounter that allowed you to that had you fighting some barbarians, some barbarian hordes that were chasing somebody else down, and I was able to just kind of port that and turn it into kind of a slavery things. Well, so I'm on a roll right now with you, Ivalon. It's a good thing then if you're not a fan of the Forgotten Realms, maybe you'll be a fan of the Olivos realm. Maybe not, because I'll be honest with you, my start in Dungeons and Dragons was 5th edition. And there's a lot of things that I like about 5th edition in that it's got a lot of people into the game, but I also recognize there were some amazing things written way before 5th edition came out. Birthright Eberron and the default 4E setting. Isn't the default... What is the default 4E setting? I thought the default E4E 4th edition setting was the Forgotten Realms. This is where I get to do the learning because you're teaching me now. Okay. Beastmaster is not something I'm going to work with today. We'll move on. So now I'm curious. No, you've got me on this now. Default 4th edition Dungeons and Dragons setting. Nentir Ve... Oh! Well, now I feel particularly lacking because this is all news to me. This would be... You know what? Maybe this is why so many people had a big thing against 4th edition. Is because they tried to keep on doing everything into Forgotten Realms or something along those lines. But the default setting being... Now I'm learning. And the Nentir Vale and Narath. Tell me about Narath. Oh, yeah. Points of light. Narath, the world... This world is the core setting of... Okay, Damascus. Oh, cool. Damascus is from here. Okay, cool. You guys can't see this, can you? I'm gonna have to zoom this in or something so we can... There we go. This is what I'm reading. Okay, cool. The Abyssal Plague originated here. Oh, okay. I get it now. This is why people like this realm, because it's got some shit in here. All right. Omendran, Jim Dark Magic, Binwin Bronze Bottom are all from this world. Summoned by the Dawn War to help the gods of realm space to defend the north. Okay, cool. All right, there's Points of Light world. Yeah. Like you just said. That's right. I was too zoomed in. Commonly called the Points of Light world, it is home to Nentir Vale, a fallen empire of Narath, after which this world is known. Conceived to be it was supposed to be part of the Forgotten Realms. Shadowfell Keep and the town of Winterhaven are the only places of Nentir Vale that actually appeared in the Forgotten Realms product. Interesting. I feel like I have a whole world here that I have not been connected to. I'm about to dive into am I about to go down a rabbit hole because of you, Ivalon? Are you bringing me down a rabbit hole? Alright, here we go. Okay, so we're onto a different wiki now. We're not on the Forgotten Realms wiki, which is good because we want to be on the Nentir Vale wiki. Okay. Let's zoom this in because you guys can't see that either. Nentir Vale. Clear parts of the map are covered in mixed terrain. Large stretches of open meadowland, copses of light forests. Okay, cool. It's pretty deep. Like they got a lot of stuff here. I'm gonna have to. Oh, now I'm diving in. Oh yeah. Thunderspire Mountain, Stone March, Kobold Hall. Look at these. Inverness Castle. But hang on, Inverness. That's a familiar phrase for me. Why is Inverness familiar to me? Why is Inverness Castle familiar to me? That one's new. That one... Okay. Inverness Castle. Oh, because it's on Earth. That's why. Okay. Okay, let's fix that. Inverness is a real world place, thanks. Okay. Fine. Alright, so Inverness Castle is a notable ruin. Great name, obviously, because Earth likes it too. Okay, fine. Chris Perkins. Filling in the gaps here. I love Chris Perkins stuff. I really do. So if Chris Perkins is an influencer here in the 4th edition, I'm not going to complain. It looks like it could be... Okay, Winterhaven. The Winterhaven is in Forgotten Realms, although maybe not to the same extent as it would be in the Ninter Vale. Oh, man. Okay, I have to draw a line here, because I'm going to dive into this. I'm going to start reading through things and saying, no, I want this. And I'm going to lose myself. I'm going to be gone. That's what's going to happen, because this is what I do. I find lore. I'm like, I want more. And Okay, so I want to learn about how, you know what? I'm going to pick one spot. Oh, hang on. Oh, Birthright. Yeah, okay, yeah. Birthright is also awesome. There's a lot of really cool stuff in there that I've actually pulled out. Actually, second edition AD&D, that's actually where I got a lot of my background for my Circle of the Deep Druid. There was a company, somebody published it. Name's escaping me. I'll look it up if I have to. But they made a Deeping Druid, but I needed something close to it that wasn't just Dwarven focused only, and that was what it was written for, was a Dwarven Deeping Druid. But I used a lot of their information to help me create the Circle of the Deep subclass for Olivos. So, that doesn't mean that Birthright can't still be used, I think, though, right, Ivalon? There's a lot of really good stuff in there. People could probably... that would be an interesting thing to find, is somebody who's actually running a short adventure or like a one-shot set in Birthright. On Twitch. That would be kind of neat, actually. And, you know, somebody who's just going to pound through all of the different settings and say, this is what this setting feels like. Hammerfast. Third such city to stand on the site. Oh, Dwarven Hold cut from the rock of a deep vale in the Dawnforge Mountains. Hammerfast is the largest and wealthiest town in the region. It's the most haunted. You know, I feel like, based off of that little itty-bitty description, I feel like Hammerfast exists in Olivos. Or something like it. I mean, I shouldn't say, I'm not going to just, like, steal stuff and shove it into Olivos, but I can still be inspired by other people. Trade road runs through the Citadel gates, continues eastward beyond the Dawnforge Mountains. Now, I don't remember if I've given my mountain range in the Dwarven Empire a name yet. I like Dawnforge, but that's definitely not our name. Wow. Okay. That's a rabbit hole. Nah, I'm sorry. I can't do it. I gotta... Thank you, actually, though. Don't get me wrong. I love this. I love that I've been introduced to something new. This is what you're supposed to do for me, guys. I appreciate it. I have to stay on task because I have a game coming up, and I got DM struggles. You have a game coming up. You have to get ready for it, but then somebody... but then there's this little nugget of lore that's just like, read me. I understand that the 4th edition rules were tricky. The story, the setting might be its redeeming feature. And I want a redeeming feature for 4th edition because I've definitely had too many people tell me 4th edition is bad. And yeah, I do appreciate the accessibility of the 5th edition rules, which is why I'm diving down this road and why I have so many people doing it. But I am very happy with new setting ideas. Very happy with new setting ideas indeed. Okay, Hunter. Okay. No, bookmark. Screw this. I'm gonna bookmark this. Where's my bookmarks? Where do I put that? Bookmark this into my D&D folder. Huzzah. Okay, cool. All right. Back to the task at hand. Oh, that hurts to actually do that. Okay, fine. So, we're going into subclasses of Rangers right now, because I'm pretty much close to done all of that. The Hunter archetype is the only one that I haven't really placed in the lore, and it might not need placing. It might just be like, this ranger can go anywhere. And that would be fine by me, because honestly, I've had so many other subclasses I've gone through, like the Paladin, where I had to do so much more, and the Monk, where I had to do so much more with place it in Olivos properly. And for in some cases, just say, no, this doesn't exist in Olivos. But the Hunter, emulating the Hunter, I should blow this up so you guys can see it. There we go. Is that big enough? One more. Done. Okay. Hunter archetype means accepting your places as a bulwark between civilization and the terrors of the wilderness. As you walk the hunter's path, you learn specialized techniques for fighting the threats you face, from rampaging ogres and hordes of orcs to towering giants and terrifying dragons. You know, this doesn't need help. It's just as published. Colossus Slayer. Your tenacity can wear down the most potent giant killer. You know, I will put some information in here about the giant killer. Because there is a large giant contingent in the western part of Osawiran, which is the main continent on Olivos. Anything else? Escaping the horde. Once on each of your turns, you can make a weapon attack for Horde Breaker. You can make another attack with the same weapon against a different creature, so you can hit lots of people. Horde Breaker and Colossus Slayer. If it's below it, you can deal this damage. So, Giant Killer. I'll write this down here real quick because there are many... Oh, I did the wrong tool again. There are many regions in Olivos where the giant killer, what is this? This is called the Hunter's Prey, where the giant killer, and it's kind of important because, like, it's a big chunk of the lore in the background, there's basically two different countries. One of them is called Kilvota, the other one is called the Seraph Hordes. The Seraph Hordes are actually relatively nice giants. And of course, everything is relative. But they're relatively nice giants. The Kaganet of Kilwota is, well, not. We'll put it that way. They're a little murder ho-ish. And there's a specific lore reason why, but I don't really want to go too much into it on Twitch because I also know that I'm about to start a campaign that might just, go and visit some giants. And I don't want to give all of my secrets away out to the public. Giant Killer, Hunter's Prey feature. Namely in the Castasaria, a country called Castasaria. Namely in Castasaria, and actually that's not true. It's not just going to be Castasaria. It would also be parts of Wesleria. Namely in Castasaria, parts of Wesleria. Yeah, and all these countries. I'll pull up a map here, just so like we're talking. Parts of Wesleria. Let's pull that map up now. Because I also sometimes say the wrong country names because I've got too much lore. Thank you. Rolling around in my head. Let me find that map. Elizabeth. Okay, so basic idea for what Olivos looks like. That's a map file. I want this guy here. That's the winner. I put you up onto this screen. Poof. There we go. Olivos. And the part that I can actually share with you guys for the most part is this chunk here. Because there's a lot of this part that's already existed. So, Wesmia is the main place that everything's happened. In fact, I have a little miniature campaign that's happening in a portal right there in the map, right there. And then there is also a group of people who just found a sunken citadel right there. So like we're only starting campaigns on Olivos, and all of the activity has happened here so far, but I've been trying to build all of these subclasses and all of this lore for everything. For the all of it. And so, like Castaseria, the Kingdom Castaseria, there's a chunk up here where Rangers of the Hunter of the with the Giant Killer property might be actually good. Parts right here of Wesleria, in this region here where Kalota borders it, and maybe even in Quambia, in the west, I guess, in the west. So there we go, in the west. And Iquambia, although nobody knows anything about Iquambia because that would be like Far Traveler stuff. Namely Castaseria. Okay, that's cool. Giant Killer covered. All right, apparently I'm done my range. You know, Rangers had problems in 5th edition. It was super underpowered out of the player's handbook. Then they fixed it with Tasha's Cauldron, which is good, but it's still, you know, whoa, what did I just do? That was not what I meant to do. There we go. And oh man, this machine just had an update and now it's having its self-conniption. Or maybe I'm just moving too many things around. There we go. That's where that's supposed to go. Good, good, good. Okay. So Ranger, done. Okay, now we're on to Rogues. Okay. And I suspect that a lot of what's going to happen here with the Rogue is going to be much like everything else. Go away. Much like everything else with the Ranger, is that it very likely will just simply work in all of those. So I'm gonna try and go through it super fast because I don't want to do all the ones that just work. I actually want to get into the oh, that was not the button I should have hit. I actually want to get into the meat and potatoes, the ones where there's actually deep lore that I want to get into, because that's more fun. Probably for you guys to watch for that matter too. Let's find the Rogues. Where are you, Rogues? Okay, so Rogues. They had 3 archetypes in the player's handbook, but there's a whole lot more than that. We're going to go through each of these lovely little beasts. Oh, and yeah, they have Mastermind Swashbuckler in both Xanthars and Sword Coast, but I'm going to only do the Xanthars because I don't know that there's a lot of differences, but I feel like there's just tiny nuance differences that matter. So I will make sure that I indicate. Let's go with the Mastermind needs to be XGTE. And same thing with Swashbuckler, XGTE. There we go. Alright. Let's do... And I'm going to go from the bottom, only because I can then, you know, write all here, move things around, and then still have space to go. So we'll start with the Soul Knife. And Tasha's had a lot of, like, psychic stuff. So I have to be very careful about how much psychic stuff I actually want to put into all of those. I do want to put a little bit, but I think I want to be very, like, locale focused with my with my psychic stuff. Most assassins strike with physical weapons, and many burglars and spies use thieves' tools to infiltrate secure locations. In contrast, a soul knife strikes and infiltrates with the mind, cutting through barriers, both physical and psychic. I'm having so much fun with this right now. Okay. These rogues discover psionic power within themselves and channel it to do their roguish work. They find easy... their roguish work? Really? Wizards of the Coast? Whatever. Okay. They find easy employment as members of thieves' guilds, though they are often mistrusted by rogues who are leery of anyone using strange mind powers. I don't think that amid the trees of ancient forest, the material plane, and in the Feywild, some wood elves walk the path of the Soul Knife, serving as silent, lethal guardians of their woods. In endless war among the Githzeri is encouraged to become a Soul Knife when stealth is required against a Githyanki foe. Okay, cool, cool, cool. I don't have anything in particular that would demand like a whole culture based off of psionics And so this may not be something I need to do a whole heck of a lot with. Just kind of go through here, make sure none of these features seem to be too locally based, and psychic teleportation. What I will say is that if there's somebody, it will do this, because in Wesleria, I'll pull that up here again here. In Wesleria, this part here, this city here, I don't know if you guys can see it really well. It's called Sunbell, is like Mage City. There's gazillions of mages. There's multiple schools of arcane natures, and so it wouldn't be and there is already previous subclasses where you can actually train in psionics in Sunbell, and so I'll put a little mention of that, but that doesn't mean that you have to go to school to become a soul knife rogue. Psionics are taught in schools in Sunbell of Wesmia. There we go. No, not Wesmia. Wesleria. Get your country state straight, Windy. Wesleria. So, so a person, a soul knife rogue, may learn from some source here. But they could still all exist anywhere else in Olivos. Could still exist anywhere in Olivos. There we go. Huzzah. And this is just because I'm trying to create a player's handbook of how all these subclasses could fit into Olivos. Huzzah, that's better. So that anybody who wants to jump into a game, like I'm searching for a player for my Friday morning games, about the same time of day, then you can, of course, know how your various choices would fit into the lore of the realm. Phantom Rogue. I love these comments from Tasha. I'm pretty certain Tasha is one of my favorite characters of all time. Just saying. Many rogues walk a fine line between life and death, risking their own lives and taking the lives of others. While adventuring on that line, some rogues discover a mystical connection to death itself. These rogues take knowledge from the dead and become immersed in negative energy, eventually becoming like ghosts. Thieves' guilds value them as highly, effective information gatherers and spies. Many Shatterkai of the Shadowfell are masters of the macabre techniques, and some are willing to teach this path in places like Thay in the Forgotten Realms and Karnath and Eberron, where many necromancers practice their craft. A phantom can become a wizard's confidant and right hand. In temples of gods and death, the phantom might work as an agent to track down those who try to cheat death. How did you discover there's power? Okay, so nice thing is that they gave some ideas in some settings. I mean, as Ivalon and I will now attest to, they missed some important settings. But that doesn't mean that we can't figure it out. So if it's like Thay in Forgotten Realms, like with all the red wizards and such, and Karnath and these are areas that have a lot of arcane and sometimes negatively arcane areas. There's not a lot of negatively arcane areas in Olivos except for maybe pockets that exist in largely, if there is a place, it would probably be largely Palia or even Stiag. So Palia is really a country that I haven't 100% envisioned yet, except that I wanted it to be very much self-interested, but not with commerce, like not not going to be like wealth and beauty and culture, highbrow culture kind of stuff. I want Palia to just kind of be we're not religious, but we're awesome, and that kind of runs the risk, runs the opportunity for it to become kind of this is its own culture that others would be like, nah, this is not the right way you should be living. But then there's also the monster kind kingdom, and that's probably where I'm going to find a lot of um, phantom rogues to begin with, because the monster kind kingdom, which isn't actually a kingdom, it's their states. So you've got the United States of United Hordes, I should say, United Hordes of Stiag, but they've had to battle all sorts of things just to be allowed to exist, and so they may also have rogues. Two region, get the right symbol here. Two regions that may take advantage, or that may endorse phantom rogues. Let's see here. May endorse phantom rogues. Two regions may endorse phantom rogues. Where was I? I lost it. Two endorse phantom rogues are Palia and who would seek to maintain their world by way of not influence, but by way of force and fear, perhaps. That's a better way of saying it. That took me a long time to figure out how I wanted to say that. Okay, two regions that may endorse phantom rogues are Palia, which, yeah, I can't read my own writing there. Let's fix that. Palia and Stiag. Wow, I might need to get a new pen tip here. All right. Oh, hang tight. Is there anything else? Whispers of the Dead, 3rd level feature, Wails from the Grave. As you get somebody closer to the grave, echoing those who have died. I will say, because those who died cling to you. You know what? I am going to add one thing in here too. Those who've had a close interaction with Greywave, who is the god of death, the Lark of Death. Those who've had a close contact or connection with Greywave. May be called to this path. Called to this path. That was a really weird way of writing that. This path. There we go. Got it. Phantom Rogue. Y'all are done. Moving forward, moving on, getting the things. I'm trying to get to Wizard. So I'm going to go alphabetically. I'm trying to get to Wizard and finish it by the end of this weekend. So I'm just trying to burn through it all. Okay, Swashbuckler, here we go. And we're using XGTE for this guy. You focus your training on the art of the blade, relying on speed, elegance, and charm in equal parts. So while some warriors are brutes clad in heavy armor, your myth. So there is a large pirate contingent that would kind of follow into these lines. In Palia, Fuencia, and okay, there we go. Palia, in the Palian Kingdom, in Fuencia, and then out here in the Lochrorum wasting area as well. There's a large pirate contingent. So here we go. With Actually, everything has sea access. With every country having sea access, every region having access to the sea, to seas and oceans, I guess. These can exist anywhere. However, the most significant location, or the most common, no, most accepted, that's okay. No, I don't even want to say accepted. What I want to say is they are normal in Fuencia because they are... They're normal in Fuencia because... I don't know what's going on with me. My brain is just melting. Okay. They're normal in Fuencia because they got their charm. Their charm. However, that's it. However, their charm lends themselves to Fuencia because Fuencia is very much a highbrow, money-making, charmed place, really, when it comes... We have a Glamour Guild in Fuencia, which is basically like social media influencers without the access to social media. There's we even have one of Spencer, one of my players. He also encouraged me to consider creating basically this Glamour Guild that included a drag competition, and I love it. I want it for every ounce of my fiber and being. I want it, so I'm going to be building that in there later too. When I am working on the Fuencian history, I'm like, I almost want to just like drop what I'm working on right now and get there, but like I said, must exercise self-discipline, get my work done. Their charm lends themselves to Fuencia. They also duelists and pirates are also common. In Palia and throughout Loch Rarum. Oh, I can't spell Rarum. Loch Rarum and the Wasting, which is kind of like a Mediterranean, but it's like a southern Mediterranean area. Do I write that in there? No, I got that. I got a different article for that. We're good that way. Yeah, that is good. We'll be getting places. Okay, so I don't know what that accent was. Please don't judge me. I was just making weird phrases. That's pretty much it for the Swashbuckler, the Scout. I don't... Oh, man, I feel like the Scout's just going to be like, as published, and then move on. Because I think it's pretty open. There's some classes that 5th edition did that are just super open and you can use them anywhere. And I like those classes to a certain extent. But when it comes to try to find which ones are which, like that's why I'm going through each one of these subclasses specifically, because some of these subclasses have just little nuances. Like even the Swashbuckler to a little bit had this little nuance on it that was like, you're not going to find a Swashbuckler in Thay. It's just not going to happen. Not likely, I should say. Because there's just no water there. Or you're not going to find a Swashbuckler. Like on Earth, you would not find a Swashbuckler in Ohio. But you would potentially find a Swashbuckler in New York or in, or even in like, go out to, like Manila or something like that. But you're not going to find, and getting into all of those because everything's got access to water. You might find Swashbuckler everywhere, but I don't have a lot of landlocked locations. Scout, you are skilled in stealth and surviving far from the streets of a city, allowing you to scout ahead of your companions during expeditions. Rogues who embrace this archetype are at home in the wilderness and among barbarians and rangers, and many scouts serve as the eyes and ears of war bands. Ambusher, spy, bounty hunter, these are just a few of the roles that scouts assume as they range the world. Alright, cool. So, if that's the case, amongst barbarians and rangers, well, then this is where I can kind of tie in scouts to where those lores exist. So, open regions of combat and hordes and such. Seraphian hordes. So these are giant hordes. Seraphian hordes. Kilwotan giants. Castasarians. Actually, I'm just going to go with those. And Castasarians, because they're all in the middle of a war right now. Not the Seraphian hordes, but so I guess, you know what, I should change that. Let's get these guys out here for a second. Because you're not actually in a war, but the Kilwotan giants and Castasarians, they're in a war. Castasarians. Likely trained scouts right now. Likely trained scouts for war purposes. Okay. Seraphian hordes. Rorian dwarves. Rorians and Rorians and Wesmians bordering Stiag. Bordering Stiag. May employ scouts for protection purposes. May employ scouts due to the recent history of battles there, to the recent history of battles. And Stiag definitely has scouts. So they may actually train these people on purpose between those different regions. Huzzah. Alright. That brings us now to the Mastermind Scout. Sorry, Mastermind Rogue, I should say. Skirmisher, Survivalist, Superior Movement. Yeah. Cool. Alright. Alrighty. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, cool. So, Scout's good. No, other way. Masterminds. Okay, your focus is on people and the influence and secrets they have. Many spies, courtiers, schemers. They follow this archetype, leading lives of intrigue. Words are your weapons, as often as knives or poison, and secrets and favors are some of your favorite treasures. So these guys here, there will be Mastermind Rogues will be many in the Redeemers faction. Used by wealthy Influencia. By the wealthy Influencia. Or used as spies by the Palian King. But really they could appear anywhere, honestly. But these are just ideas. Or used as spies by the Palian King. That makes sense there. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Master of Tactics, Master of Intrigue, Misdirection, Soul of Deceit. That's cool. You can't be read. Your mind can't be read. Which will, of course, really frustrate Soul Knife Rogue. So that's kind of interesting. But that's pretty much it. Like this, in terms of secrets and spy networks and such, Redeemers is your main one. The wealthy people who just want to, you know, manage their political influence or their commercial influence. And then the Pallian King, who's just like afraid of everybody. Huzzah. Okay. That was fast. I like that one. Let's keep going with fast stuff because I want to get to the really challenging things to manage as well. Okay. Inquisitive. As an archetypal inquisitive, you excel at rooting out secrets. Okay, so similar story. You could also be here. You excel at defeating creatures that hide among and prey upon ordinary folk. Your mastery of lore and your keen deductions make you well equipped to expose and end hidden evils. Alright. Talent for picking out lies. Steady eye. Yeah, you know what? In this case, I'm just going to say... I'm going to actually put Mastermind and Inquisitive together because they'll exist everywhere. Wherever you have people who are creative, who are trying to do tactics and spreading lies and things like that, like Masterminds, you will also have Inquisitives in the same way. So that simplifies that quite a bit. Inquisitive and Mastermind. They're both going to do the exact same things. Or you're going to be found in the exact same areas, which is really everywhere, but with specific focus in certain regions. There we go. Beauty. Okay. Arcane Trickster. Next one. Oh yeah, because those was we've already done those ones. Arcane Tricksters. I feel like there's not a lot here because they could exist everywhere. However, Arcane Tricksters are most likely going to learn from wizarding schools. Maybe from the seedy underbelly. Perhaps learn the arcane secretly, or even openly, in Sunbelt, where there are like mage schools, either in or alongside, either in or peripherally to, or peripherally to the arcane schools. There. Arcana schools. There. Yeah, that one's easy too, because just making sure that people know that there's a place where they can actually learn that. If they want to go with something that's lore based as opposed to, you know, you watch Critical Role, you see how in the second campaign, what's the person's name? Sam Riegel did the Goblinoid. Can't remember the goblin's name now. Anyway, became an arcane trickster because they followed around this wizard all the time and said, hey, look, that wizard can do things. Let me learn. So you could do it that way, or you could do it based off of the lore of Sunbelt. In all of those, anyway. Both would work just fine. And then the last but not least, the thief, and then I can say I'm done with the rogues. Whew. And it's only been an hour. Like it. Okay, so you hone your skills with the larcenous arts. Larceny is, I'm going to say, Okay, so do rogues who prefer to think themselves professional treasure seekers, explorers, delvers, and investigators, in addition to improving your agility and stealth. Okay, so basically thieves. There are lots of calls for thieves in Fuencia, and treasure seekers will most likely find the less populated areas of the world. But that doesn't necessarily mean I need to write that about lore. The lore part of it is Fuencia. So Fuencia, with all its wealth, also attracts thieves. In terms of thieves guilds, I think every city is going to have a thieves guild, so I'm not going to worry about saying this is the main thieves guild. The redeemers will use thieves to fund themselves, though. So, and that's a faction. The redeemers use thieves, or may use thieves, for fundraising. Possibly. Okay. Actually, I want to put a question mark beside that because that doesn't really feel 100%, but at least I got that going there. Rogues! Y'all are done. What's my next one? Are we into sorcerers yet? Hot dang. We're into sorcerers. Alright, I'm gonna go get myself some Wawa. I have some in a neighboring room, but I'll be right back here in just like all of about 48 seconds. Don't go anywhere. I'll be right back. Hey, yeah. What's up? Never mind, I'm faster. There we go. Huzzah. Okay. Had to hydrate. Okay. Oh, wrong hole. Of course it is. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right. Here we go. Clockwork Soul. Sorcerer. Oh, we got to get to the Sorcerer first. There we go. Sorcerers. Let's get all the way down here. So Clockwork Soul, Sorcerers. This is going to get interesting because there are some places where Clockwork stuff might actually become relatively well known. So Cosmic Force of Order has suffused you with magic. That power arises from Mechanus, or a realm like it, a plane of existence shaped entirely by clockwork efficiency. You or someone from your lineage might have become entangled in the machinations of the Modrons, the orderly beings who inhabit Mechanus. Perhaps your ancestor even took you took part in the Great Modron March. Whatever its origin, within you, the power of order can seem strange to others, but for you, it is a part of a vast and glorious system. All right, so here's what we're gonna. Okay, manifestations of order. That doesn't. Hang on. Does any of that look like it's? None of that looks like it needs to be location or culturally based, with the exception, of course, of Mechanus. So, in the case of sorcerers, there seems to be, and I already know this, there seems to be some unknown. Oh, I don't remember what the city's name is, though. Do I have the city up on this map? Equambe? No, that can't be it. Rats. I might actually have to go to Asgard to find my city. I'm gonna have to do that. Darn it. Alright, let's do it. That map was created using this tool. I'm gonna make it big. It's thinking. It's thinking. So this is just this map here you're seeing right now. That's not mine. That's just a randomly generated one by Asgard's map generator. I need... Where is that file? Where's that file? File search. Let's do this. There it'll be. Nope, it won't be in there. It'll be in all of those. And there's the most recent version, which apparently still isn't the most recent version of things. Alright, let's get in here. This is where we're talking. Gabagald. That's the city I was talking about. We'll go with that one there. This city here is a giant city. There is actually a cloud giant section of said city that floats above the rest. And in that floating area is a number of artificers and other clockwork-like related things. And it is the only place that seems to have had some sort of connection to Mechanus, we'll say. Okay, so see some unknown connection. You can't see this. Some unknown connection between Gabagald in the Seraphian Hordes. We're in the I didn't spell that right. In the Seraph Hordes. And some clockwork power entity history and clockwork origins. Clockwork. This is where a word would be useful. Clockwork. Clockwork. Come on, Thesaurus. Help me out here. Clockwork origins. Thesaurus. Synonyms, antonyms. Here we go. Influence, provenance, source, and clockwork. Oh, man. Elements. I'll just go with elements, because it's the word I can work with for now. Clockwork elements. This is likely the only location. Is likely the only location. And I like the word likely because it means it's not. I'm not ruling it out, and the DM ruling can jump in. But this is likely the only location. Clockwork. Only location. Clockwork souls will originate from. There. So that is definitely, that was like a kind of an important one there. Cool. Aberrant Minds. Alrighty. Here we go. Aberrant Minds, Sorcerers. An alien influence has wrapped around its tendrils around your mind, giving you psionic power. Of course, this came from Tasha's Cauldron of everything. It's going to have psionic power. Okay, so you can now touch other minds with that power and alter the world around you. By using it to control the magical energy of the multiverse, will it shine from you as a hopeful beacon to others, or will it be a source of terror? You get to decide how you acquired your powers. Here, oh, good. Aberrant origins. You are exposed to the far realm's warping influence. You are convinced that a tentacle is now growing on you, but nobody else can see it. I love that. I love that. Okay. Okay, sure. A psychic wind from the astral plane carried psionic energy to you. When you use your powers, faint motes of light sparkle around you. Okay. Uh, where would the connection to the far realm be? There are... I need to look up far realm stuff. Alright. Nope, that's not the place to look. Far realm D&D. There we go. Far realm was a plane of madness, situated very far from the planes of the standard cosmology. This maddening realm was feared for its power to twist unfortunate visitors. Okay. I'm trying to figure out if there is any specific reason why the Far Realm. Far Realm comprised of an infinite number of layers. These layers were also transparent. Travelers could glimpse through 20 or so, with each appearing increasingly blurred. Oh yeah, that's kind of intense. That would definitely madden the world, madden the universes. So that would definitely create one. I don't know if that feels like it should be more rare than just a D6. Okay, well let's come back to that. Far realm stuff being as common as that. Let's just come back to that. A psychic wind from the astral plane carried psionic energy to you. When you use your powers, faint motes of light sparkle around you. Where is the astral plane? No, you know what? That's not... I'm actually okay with that one being as common in this one. You once suffered the dominating powers of an aboleth, leaving us... Okay, let's do this. Aboleth. Before the coming of the gods, aboleths lurked in primordial oceans and underground lakes. They reached out with their minds and seized control of burgeoning life forms. Pardon me. Making them slaves. Their dominance made them like gods. Then the true gods appeared, smashing the Aboleth Empire and freeing their slaves. Aboleths have never forgotten. Yeah, okay, cool. So, we go back here. You once suffered the dominating powers of an Aboleth, leaving a psychic splinter in your mind. Okay, so this is just all... These are all just very random things. You were implanted with a Mind Flayer tadpole, but the Ceramorphosis never completed its now its psionic power is yours. When you use it, your flesh shines with a strange... Oh, that's just disgusting. With a strange mucus. Fine, whatever. That one there seems like it's the most likely option for getting into an aberrant mind in Olivos. So far. As a child, you had an imaginary friend that looked like a flumph. Okay. Speaking of flumphs. That's so funny. What's going on with the world here? Because we just had flumps magically appear, and I couldn't find this sheet. This was on Tuesday's game. What is going on? Why is this? Apparently, I now need to make a campaign with flumps because they're repeating. They're recurring. They're the recurring theme of the week today. All right. Mystics to trust a flump. The mysterious flumps drift through the Underdark, propelled through the air by jets whose sound gives them their name. Flump, flump, flump. The flump glows faintly, reflecting its moods and its colors. Soft pink means it's amused, deep blue is sadness. Ah, I missed some stuff. I feel sad now. These guys are amazing. They communicate telepathically. They live in cloisters. I feel like I missed out so much in that game. Mind you, that game was already all over the map as it was, so maybe I shouldn't feel so bad. You can always check it out. It's on video on demand. It was Tuesday's game. Well, Witchlight in Wesmia. Okay, so I am gonna do that because apparently flumps can just, magically appear because of wild magic. Your nightmares whisper the truth to you. Your psionic powers are not your own. You draw them from your parasitic twin. I think I've seen somebody play that part before. Parasitic twin. Okay, okay. So these three, yeah, are okay. I'm going to say I want to change this table though, because the first three should be far less common than the last three, in my mind. So, for all of us at the very least. So, aberrant origins change. Aberrant oranges change. Oranges? Did I say oranges? Origins. Table change. I want to give them a much less likelihood of doing it, so we're going to go with, if I do 1, 2, 3, then I'm left with 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that is 17. Why did I have to finger count that? I'm super disgusted with myself right now. Okay. 17's a tougher one to go with, so which one of these guys is going to be more likely than the others? I'm going to say this guy. So that's going to mean 16. Still not a good number to divide by 3. So I need to get this to a number I can divide by 3. So I'm going to say this is the Far Realms warping influence is even less common than the Astral Plane or the Aboleth, I think. So what we're going to do is we're going to say that the table should actually be on a D20 instead. And then the origin. It should be a 1 for the Far Realm, 2 or 3 for the Astral Plane, 4 or 5 for the Aboleth. And then we'll make the rest of these 6 to 9, 10 to 13, and oh, that's not enough. No, that's not enough. I didn't math that properly. Apparently me and math, we're not getting along today. I'm usually way better than this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, okay, that's what it should be. 6 to 10, 11 to 15, and 16 to 20. So there we go. And so this would be the Mind Flayer option. This here should be the Flump option. And the last one should be this Parasitic Twin option. There. There, that's better. Because now I feel much better about how that Aberrant Minds rarity would occur. I did not do that right. Let me try that again. Shadow Magic. That's our next one. Alright, Shadow Magic. Okay, you're a creature shadow. For your innate magic comes from the shadow hell itself. Cool. Just a quick look into the Shadowfell. Shadowfell also claimed plane of shadow dimension of black, gray, and white. Most of the colors been leached. Overlaps the material plane in much the same way as the Feywild does. Aside from the colorless landscape, it appears similar to the material plane. Landmarks from the material plane are recognizable on the Shadowfell, but they're twisted and warped. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So that's where are we gonna come across Shadow? We're gonna come across access to the Shadowfell mostly in the Dwarven Empire of Roria down here, I think. But over here in particular, I think we'll say. Um, that feels like it makes the most sense to me. I gotta start naming these mountain ranges. These ones are the Great West Peaks. This is the Crystal Peaks. But I haven't got a name for these guys yet, for any of these other guys yet. So I'm gonna have to name some mountain ranges. If you're in the chat, feel free to throw out an idea for that. Mountains. At least I don't think I have mountain range names for them yet. I guess that's going to be the next thing. Naming everything. I've named all the water bodies, but I don't know why I didn't name all the mountain bodies. Okay. You are always icy cold to the touch when you're asleep. You barely bleed. Your heart beats once a minute. You have trouble remembering that living creatures and corpses should be treated differently. You blinked once last week. So nothing here is unusual. I'm just going to simply say, as published. Win. There we go. Oh no, I can't say that. Because something that's kind of important is to say the mountain range between Roria and the United Hordes of Stiag. Some access points to the Shadowfell are known to exist. Are known to exist in the mountains whose name shall not be known. In the mountains between Roria and Stiag. Got it. Huzzah! Okay. That's better. Now people actually have some ideas for what they want to do with the shadow magic stuff. Goes here. Divine soul. I am the divine. Okay, sometimes the spark of magic that fuels a sorcerer comes from a divine source that glimmers within the soul. Having such a blessed soul is a sign that your innate magic might come from a distant but powerful familial connection to a divine being. Maybe it was an angel. Maybe your birth might align with an ancient prophecy, or making you a servant or a chosen vessel. But might not be seen. Yeah, you know, with this one, I think what I might do is simply say this could go from any divine being, of course, but that a person should probably read about the divine beings. So I'll just say put a link to the article of deities. And then they can go and do some research to figure out which deity they might want to connect with. And that brings us to wild magic, which should... there is a couple of areas of wild magic in the world of Olivos. Oh, right. Okay, so in this one, I don't know if I want to have a lot of interaction with the Far Realm. Yet. I'm going to use the word yet. Where was it? There is... Was it monks or was it the druids? I think it was the monks. Yeah, the four elements. There's a volcanic range southwest of Estes Tooth. Estes Tooth. That's this guy here. So So right here, SD's Tooth, there's a volcanic range right in these mountains here that I already know about. And so... Wow. I was laggy there for a brief moment. Oh, it was just me, I guess, then. You guys had it fine. Sorry. Anyway, yeah, right here, the Four Elements Monastery at beside a gushing spring by SD's Tooth. So that's where, or that's one place where elemental wild magic could occur. Locations with known wild magic. That's all I'll do, is I'll just give them a bunch of locations. Mountains southwest of SD's Tooth. The Wasting, which is like that Mediterranean Sea. There should... and this will be elemental. Actually, the Wasting, I don't know what it is there that makes that. We're going to say there's a reason why the Wasting is scary that way, but I don't know why yet. And I'm okay with that as a DM not knowing everything yet. Okay. Let's go back to this map, though, because this map's going to tell me other locations. Like, maybe... I want to say in parts of the Underdark, Understiag. Because there's a big thing that's a big deal there. And there's a river somewhere in here. I want to use as well. I have a better map of Wesmia. Let me find a better map of Wesmia here first. Let me find the other map I have of Wesmia. Where is it? Wesmia, here we go. There we go, now we're talking. Whoops. What did I do? I want this one here. Alright, so there we go. This is a much better map of Wesmia. I want to say... There it is. Yeah, but I need forest around it. It's not the river I wanted. Where's another river with forest kicking around it here? Maybe I don't have another big one. Okay, fine. Fine. We're going to say the Filifo River. No, because that's a high traffic river there too. This one's less traffic. The upper reaches the Timer River is much less north of Thorvella. Yep, that's what we're gonna say. The Timer River. Near the base of the Crystal Peaks. There we go. That's where it was. The spawning pool, for sure. Oh, and the one around the Crystal Peaks, this one's Limbo. There's a portal somewhere there to Limbo that I want to put in. Cool. Mount Loester. And that should do it. Right? Oh, no, you know what? There might be some wild magic stuff largely elsewhere. I want to say there should be some wild magic stuff here. Along the border. And the reason why is because the Quotan giants have got powers that they're not supposed to have. And the Weslerians are all just mages anyway. So, feels like a right spot along the border of Wesleria and Kilwota. And that'll be that. And then I feel like there could be some possibilities here. But I'm going to leave that alone for now. Should there be... No, I've already got the wasting covered. That should be good enough for that one. There we go. Now we have some wild magic locations. Even if we don't necessarily know what's causing those wild magic locations, kind of sets this up so I have some story hooks available if I need it. And last one for the day, guys. I'm going to stop here too. This is going to be after this next subclass, which might not take a lot of work. Draconic Bloodline. I'm going to stop there. There should be, in your Draconic Ancestry stuff, Draconic Bloodline Sorcerers, there should also be gem stuff. And so I'm going to go out to Fizzbands for a brief moment. One more back. I'd be surprised if Fizzbands doesn't do that. Fizzbands. But there should be something in here about sorcerers, and they didn't do it. And that's that bothers me just a little bit. We need to create some bloodline stuff for the gem dragons. So we'll start off with, so we need to deal with Amethyst Dragons, Crystal Dragons, that's kind of fun, Emerald Dragons, Moonstone Dragons, which are actually really important in Olivos, Sapphire Dragons, and Topaz Dragons. That each one of those should also in Olivos, oops, wrong place. Each one of those should in Olivos have been mentioned in the Draconic Bloodline as well. So let's get there. Oh, I went too far back, didn't I? Sure did. I went way too far back. Okay, view all. Let's get back to the player's handbook. Let's get back to Draconic Bloodline. There we go. Okay, so the damage types. That's what we're trying to deal with here. So at first level, you choose one type of dragon as your ancestor. The damage type associated with each dragon is used by features you gain later. So we're going to add to this. Whoa, flippity floppity. The damage type of the dragons. So Amethyst Dragons. Why is that so small? Oh well. Amethyst Dragons damage types. Oh, well, I didn't click on the right thing at all for that. I guess I'll have to go to the bestiary. I should do this. Okay, so let's... Dad blast it. Okay. Menu. Compendium. Oh, I don't know why I did that. I could have just clicked right here to get there. Fizzbands. Treasury of Dragons. Huzzah. Let's go for the bestiary. And we're going to go to... Those are creature lists. I just want the dragons. Let's deal first of all with the Amethyst Dragon. Amethyst Dragons are psionic damage, I believe. Or psychic damages. Oh, why is that all flippity-flappity on you guys? Is it only flippity-flappity on... No, it's flippity-flappity on everybody. Poop. hold on. I'm going to see if I can fix that. Nope. Okay. I'm just making my machine work too darn hard. That's all there's to it. Kill that. There we go. Still a little sketchy. Okay, well, I'll try to get... Yeah, it is... breath. Shining bead of gravitational force in his mouth releases it. So it's actually... force damage. That's what we'll do. Force damage for you. For the ancient Amethyst Dragon. There. Oh, it does not like that. I am so sorry for the epilepsy, guys. Apparently it does not like that little table that it does from the bestiary. Oh, and I lost all my stuff here too. Alright. So, for the... Am I still screen sharing here? Yeah, good. Okay, so for the Draconic... So we're going to go with Amethyst. And how does this work again? The damage type associated is used by features you gain later, so we better double check those features. Will force work? Draconic Presidents. You can spend a sorcery point. As a at first level, you choose one type of dragon as your ancestor. Where does it matter? Why can't I see that? Something feels really weird about that. Hit point maximum increases, elemental affinity. Maybe this is just it here. Okay, starting at 6th level. Okay, that's what it is. Deals it when you cast a spell, it deals damage of the type associated with your draconic ancestry. You can add your charisma modifier. At the same time, you can spend one sorcery point to gain one resistance, to gain resistance to it, to force damage. That'd be sweet. And then the rest of this is... Okay, well then that's it. So elemental affinity, amethyst, we're gonna make it force damage. I need to do a crystal dragon now. This might make my screen freak out again. Hopefully not. Yep, that's what's making my screen freak out. It doesn't like that table. I don't know why it's doing that. That's so bonkers. Oh well. It's psychic stuff as well. Here we go. Starlight Strike. A searing beam of starlight. And it's radiant damage on this one. So we're going to go with crystal as radiant damage. And then we need emerald dragons. And emerald dragons are... Huzzah. For those of you who are just joining me in here, I am in the process of placing and adjusting the subclasses that have been published by Wizards of the Coast for my realm, which is Olivos. And this is the last one I'm doing today. I'm doing the Sorcerer Draconic Bloodline, and I'm just making sure that every kind of dragon, in this case we're doing Emerald right now, is included in this. Draconic Bloodline, let's see here, what's the main action? Disorienting Breath, Psychic Dissonance. Each creature does a saving throw, takes psychic damage. So the Emerald Dragons do psychic damage. And then we're going to go for the Moonstones, which are going to be relatively common, I think. Moonstone Dragons are big deals in Olivos. Moonstone, where are you? Ancient Moonstone Dragon. We call them Relique's Tears. Oh, that's pretty. I like that drawing. Okay. I am finding its power. What is the damage it does? Moonlight Breath. Beam of Moonlight Radiant damage. Okay. Radiant. Ooh, I wrote that in the wrong spot. Boom. No, not quite boom. Move some more. Thank you. Cool, cool, cool. All right. That's where I want it to be. So that takes care of emeralds and moonstones. Now we're going to go to Sapphire Dragons. Sapphire Dragons. Ah, so pretty. These trim dragons are just gorgeous. Okay. Traits and actions. Here we go. Debilitating Breath. Ooh, Sapphire Dragons do thunder damage. Love it. Okay. And last but not least, Topaz Dragons. I think my favorite is the Sapphire, just for appearance. But it doesn't really matter because they're all amazing. Necrotic damage. Topaz does necrotic damage. So now we have Draconic Bloodlines for the Gem Dragons as well, because they weren't really put into the Fizzbands, or if they were, I wasn't able to find it. And they'll still get their Dragon Wings. They'll still have their Draconic Presence. Let's see here. How do they get it? So most often sorcerers with this origin trace their descent back to a mighty sorcerer of ancient times who made a bargain with a dragon, or who might even have claimed a dragon parent. Some of these bloodlines are well established in the world, but most are obscure. Any given sorcerer could be the first of a new bloodline as a result of a pact or some other exceptional circumstance. So the nice thing about this is it's really nice and open. You can just kind of go with any dragon, which was why I needed to get the gem dragons in. And now I have them. So, huzzah. Huzzah. That's it. I'm done for the day. What's the next thing I gotta do? Warlocks. Okay, this could get interesting. Alright. That might take me some time. Oh, I'm suddenly nervous. Okay. Thankfully, it's after Warlock, it's Wizard, and I think I can get all that done in the span of a week. I think it's possible. It is very possible we could do this. So there we go, folks. Thank you for joining in with me and listening to my ramblings as I was doing some home brewing. I appreciate it. If you're interested in any of these games, then the way you could do that is by joining the Discord. You can also watch the game. So we got lots of stuff going on. I'm going to do some more homebrew stuff on Mondays. On Tuesdays, we have Witchlight and Wesmia, which right now there's a little bit of chaos there. In that game, we've had a bunch of people in our party basically try to start a revolution and fail, and now they're trying to figure out what happens next. And they're in the Feywild trying to do this, so that's kind of... Then we also have Absalom Dak, who's running his new campaign on Wednesday mornings. Dak is doing a Ghost of Saltmarsh, but it's not Saltmarsh. He's setting it in his own homebrewed world of Taya. And so it's actually called Ghost of Salain. And then we have DM Verod, who's usually at this time slot right now, but he wasn't able to get a game going today because of health things. So, keep him in our mind's eye. And then next week, you'll get a chance to see them. They're getting close to the end of Strahd. They're like level 10-ish or something like that, I think. Or maybe they're not. Maybe Verod's just like, nah, we're going to just take these guys on a side quest. I don't know. It's DM Verod. We never know what to expect. Besides that, we also have on Fridays, starting not tomorrow, but next week, we're going to have the Olivon Chronicles, which is going to be born out of a Sunken Citadel short adventure that I had. For interests, there's also possibly another in-person one that we might just try to start streaming as well. And that is currently they're doing some Tales of the Yawning Portal stuff. DM Rogue on Saturday. Well, it's nighttime for me. It's afternoon for other people. I don't know. But DM Rogue is playing. Actually, starting up a new a new party because they had a total party kill. They had a full total party kill in that last game that DM Rogue had for Dragon of Icespire Peak. And so I believe they're rolling out new characters as we speak, and they will be playing their first session with their new characters on Saturday at, I believe it's 7 p.m. GM time, I think. It's down underneath my, yeah, right there. Yeah, it'll tell you there. And it's also in the About section. There's also a podcast that Varod has also started up as well. It's called Roll More. You can always check that out. And that brings us basically to the end of what I was going to take care of today. Ivalon, I don't know if you're still with me today, but you've now sent me down the rabbit hole of 4th edition lore looking, and so I'm going to have to go start doing that. So I blame you for all of my lost sleep now. But that pretty much covers it. I will not be online tomorrow. I will probably do a restream of some sort. But because we are trying to get ourselves set up for a new game instead of carrying on with our Sunken Citadel stuff that we were doing. If you're interested in playing in that game, I am looking for one additional player. We currently have a Furbolg Druid, and we have what sounds to me like a Cleric that's going to multi-class into Rogue. And we will have a new character in there that sounds to me like it's going to be some sort of a fighter. So we have some options available to us if you wanted to jump in on that. Otherwise, today's going to be a really long day for me. I have, of course, work of teaching, and then after that, it's all the interviews with parents night tonight, which is kind of fun. I'm actually kind of looking forward to that. We have some really great conversations on that. But it's going to be a late night, and I anticipate sleeping in tomorrow just to recover. But I thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. If you enjoy what we put together here, feel free to follow us here, subscribe, as the case may be. If you want to get rid of ads, you can also throw out some bits in our general direction. Hey, there's Mim. Mim, you did the follows, and the follows are appreciated. I thank you so much. I'm glad that you're kicking in here, and we'll have some lots more content for you. And we tend to do most of our stuff during the week. When nobody else is, well, not nobody, when fewer others are doing content. So I'm very glad that you followed. Thank you very much for sticking around and for hanging out with me. I will actually, you know what? I am going to put something else out here into the chat. I am going to go to put in the world building stuff that I've done so far, because I am sure that that's one reason why you got here in the first place. And that you wanted to see some more. So let me get you to my World Anvil stuff. I'm just going to pull up the address here. I believe this is the one I want. So let me just double check it, make sure I don't have any spelling errors in it, and I do not. So I'll put it in the chat here if you guys wanted to check it out. Thank you so much, Mim, for wave it. That's a fun emote. I like that one. But there is the world building stuff that I've published so far. The stuff I did today I haven't put into the publication yet, but it's gonna go in there over the course of the next couple of days. You'll see all of how I have put in the subclasses so far into my realm. You can see the deities and the pantheons that exist in all of those, and there's a couple of maps there that you can see that I've created using Asgars and using Incarnate to try to get the people an understanding as to what all of those even looks like. And 2 of our campaigns are currently in all of those as well. So thank you guys so much. This will be my last one before I get to before the weekend, so I am going to say, may your rolls be natural 20s and your saving throws be successes all weekend long. Thank you guys very much for joining me, and have a remarkable, I'm going to say have a remarkable weekend. Peace out.